Hello. Welcome back to Almost 30 Podcast. Or if you're new, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Welcome for the first time.
Welcome to the first time in your whole life. In your whole dang life.
Come one, come all.
Gather round.
It's Lindsey and Krista. We normally don't talk over each other, but today's gonna be the day.
6 years in, this is gonna be a day of talking over each other. 2 girls, 2 mics.
We've really perfected the art of ESP in interviews together.
It's like awesome and stressful at times.
100%. Tell me a stressful time.
Recently. There was a recent situation. We've had 4 situations in our whole podcasting career where people have been under the influence during an interview. And it's stressful because there's a lot happening. So that's going on. And we're having a psychic conversation where we're like, okay, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Right.
What's next?
Right. Because we don't know exactly what's going on, but
Yeah.
then I'm thinking, does Krista know? And
Yes. Or even in regular podcasting interview situations, if we're kind of not feeling the vibe
I know.
and we want to get out, it's like...
This happens very rarely, by the way.
Guys, we've done over 400 episodes. This has probably happened 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not really even about them. It's obviously always about us, but it's more about like if we've ever had like 3 interviews in a day or
Sure.
something like that. I'm just sick of sitting on my ass.
I think we both have things that we do or say or don't say that kind of indicate I'm done.
Yes. I usually get up, move around. The other day I was like, there was a candle lit. I blew out the candle. I opened the door. I ran up and hugged them.
If she could close a curtain, she would.
In the middle of the sentence. Because there's something about me. I'm very patient, but there's something about me when I'm ready to go. I'm really ready to go.
Yeah.
Like after meals and dinners.
Yes.
Once we get the check, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's like or if I'm at a party or something, I'm always the person at the party that I leave the party at the peak of the party. I don't stay, like all my friends in college, I literally love them. They would always be like, yeah, we were out till 4. Like I left at 1 and it was like the peak of it all.
Yes. You want to be the one that when you leave, people are like, oh, where's she going?
Yes.
I wish she would stay.
Yeah, exactly. And then they look around and they're like, ugh.
Instead of, I wish you would leave.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, why is she lingering? I was never a lingerer. That's factual. That is factual. I was never lingering. But today is an Ask Us Anything episode that Lindsey and I do. So we will do Ask Us Anything episodes about once a month. And we just like to source questions from the community that we receive either on Instagram or within our membership. And it's just a beautiful way for us to connect with you guys and then for us to answer some of your questions and just have a fun girl chat.
Yeah. And we got some really good we always get good questions. I'm always like kind of blown away. I'm like, wait a second.
Love them. Do we have any news up top?
Just a bit of big news.
Big news.
A little bit of big news. We have Camp Almost 30 coming up in 2 days. Thousands and thousands of you from all over the world are joining us for our biggest virtual event of the year. And this is really a celebration of your evolution, of important conversations that are just shifting a lot, shifting our hearts, shifting us into the new paradigm, making us think, helping us to grow, and helping us to connect. And the lineup this year is
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
When Lindsey and I put our dream list of who we wanted to speak at Almost 30, we could not be more proud of everyone who is teaching. We had the best time at Camp Almost 30 in January of this year, and the lineup was incredible. People left, and they just were absolutely changed. And to top that, this fall or this summer is just an absolute dream. We have Radhi Devlukia Shetty. She's going to be talking about conscious living, how to nourish your mind, body, soul, and planet Earth. We have Africa Brooke. She's talking about moving away from self-censorship and into mindful self-expression. Terry Cole's going to be teaching us about codependency and boundaries in relationships. Samora Suber is talking about knowing your worth. We're going to do a moving meditation and visualization with Yoga Wake Up. We have Erin Abke, who's doing the science of reincarnation, who's a dear friend. We have Debbie Brown. You are limitless. She is the limitless queen. So we're going to be really going deep with her. We have Adriana Ayales of Anima Mundi Herbals, who is a partner of ours. She's going to be talking about psychic cleansing techniques through the use of herbs and altars. We have Jazz the Moon Mother, a friend of ours, whose topic is You Are God, identifying as healed. Alyssa Romeo, Meet Your Soul. And then Lindsey and I are going to be talking about the stories we tell ourselves. So it really is like a masterclass, full day, free virtual event that we would love to have you join.
Free. So you can reserve your spot, and space is limited at almost30.com/camp. So that's almost30.com/camp. And we are going to give you a sneak peek into the next round of our membership. We're really excited to share.
Yes, we've added giveaways, healings, more ways for you guys to connect. We added workshops, the extra bonus episodes,
extra live hangs.
Yes,
it's gonna be
tons
really
of additional
fun.
content. Our downloadables are super meaty and hearty, and we give us a topic to ground into each month. And so there's a lot in the membership. So we're excited to open that up again.
Yes, amazing. Okay, y'all, let's do it. Ask us anything.
Ask us anything.
This is where we.
Yeah. Okay. How you so beautiful.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't got like a single. Every question's like
Deep as can be.
yes. I don't get a single surface question.
It's not like shut up, stop doing Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, it's not like what's your trick to stay like so amazing?
Okay, let's start with this one. How to start a prayer practice late in life and have it feel natural.
The natural part is an interesting indicator.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you guys know, so Lindsey and I are not particularly religious. We both grew up with a Catholic upbringing and really had to bring faith or God or our connection to source, universe, Adonai, whatever you guys want to call it, back into our lives later in life. I always had a connection to the universe, but now more specifically call it God. And so praying was something that I incorporated back into my life more consciously in the past year. I was doing manifestation, I was talking to source, I was talking to guides, but it's been much more intentional as of late, where it's like, I am in prayer. This is my ritual. Mm-hmm. I'm setting aside time for conversation. And I think it's like, there's one part about it where I had to stop trying to be so conscious about what I was trying to say. And I would almost judge myself, where I would try and get into like almost a meditation teacher's voice, where I'd be like, dear God, please let abundance flow through my veins and let me shine my promising light on the world through my Instagram. Or you know what I mean? I'd be like in a voice that wasn't my own. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I did, and I think this would be helpful for you, would be to just really sit there in silence and let your heart speak. Like just say, God, please hear my heart, and let your heart do all of the talking. Your heart will really speak what is true for you, what is needed, and it will speak more clearly than anything that your ego would ever want to say. So I think being in silence is really, really, really important. You don't have to be perfect. It's like God of all things knows what you want or what you intend anyways. So as much as your conscious mind can bring forth what your wishes are, what your prayers are, your heart is really going to do most of it. And then just setting aside time to do it. You know, I'll pray in the car. I'll pray when I'm walking. I'll pray every night before bed, every morning. And for me, my prayer is really like a recap of, you know, what I'm asking for, what I'm wanting to create, what I'm thankful for. And ever since being married to Justin, you know, my husband, I'm being a good girl and I'm saying husband all the time. Mm-hmm. I've really been praying for him. And I realized that as women, I think we pray very specifically for ourselves and our life and our family, but I wasn't praying for Justin until this year. You know, I was kind of assuming that so many people in my life really have it all together. And I've really made a conscious effort to pray for the health, safety, well-being, and love of him and people that I'm very close to. So I've also incorporated people that I love's prayers in my heart. And there's actually studies that have really shown the benefits of group prayer on people and situations and places. So prayer is something that works.
Yes. And just to add to that, I kind of felt the same, where I was judging myself as to what I was saying and how I was saying it. And, lately, and I think Aaron Rose has been a big part of this and inspiring this, is like expressing frustrations and being like,
Yes.
God, I'm frustrated. Like,
Yep.
I haven't been experiencing this, or I haven't been seeing this. And I really need it to be obvious. And I would love just the clear sign, or, the blessings to just roll on in, because I always felt guilty about, not leading with gratitude. I think, God knows your heart. And I do believe that, if you are in gratitude, it is felt. It doesn't necessarily need to be like, I am grateful for this, I am grateful for this. But I like to balance it out with just like, hey, I'm feeling really hopeless, or I'm feeling just really lost in this way, and just asking for that guidance and asking for those blessings and being very firm about it, because I think it establishes a worthiness too.
Yeah.
Aaron
says, I no longer want to experience.
Yeah.
To be like, I no longer want to experience a lack of support from my family or friends. I no longer want to experience insecurity when I'm presenting in front of my team or whatever it is.
And I've also been trying to bring my quote asks in the present tense. So it's like as if I already have them, or thank you for providing all that I need in order to safely go on vacation next month, or thank you for, just really bringing it to the present as if it already is, because it already is. And then I think what really helps me too is like having conversations about God, or like incorporating God into a conversation and feeling liberated enough to do that, whether it's with you or in our coaching sessions or with Sean or friends, and just like feeling the power of that, of being able to say God, like, oh my gosh, like, thank you, God, for this. Like, God is so good. Or, just like being able to say that, I think is like my own like brief prayer throughout the day. And yeah, I've been like blessing my food, you know what I mean? Little
That's
things like
huge.
that is like
That could be
what
a
we
prayer.
think about, but it gives me pause. Like Sean always, before he puts something in his mouth, like not every time, but before he eats a meal, we'll pray, and he's always done that. And it used to freak me out. I used to be like, that's weird.
I love that he's eating like Fruit Loops.
I know, he'll go.
Literally, he's like Pop-Tarts, yes.
But he's always done that. And I used to think like, oh my God, this is weird. Like it made me think
All
of
of
my
it.
Catholic,
Dude,
whatever.
I used to be like lame.
And now I'm like, can I do the prayer?
All of it. I used to think it was so lame.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, this question also is indicative of the programming that a lot of us have had, and that Lindsey and I spoke to, where it's like, how can it feel natural? Because if you did grow up in the same sort of indoctrination that we grew up with, it doesn't feel natural to be or I'll speak for myself, it didn't feel natural for me to be in a church repeating the same thing every single year, having no connection to what was going on, feeling completely like I was so far from God. It was so far from me. And so it doesn't feel natural to pray, because I don't think we were taught to pray in the correct way. So it's really relearning and giving yourself permission and allowing yourself to like just explore ways that fit for you, and knowing that it's normal to feel a little uncomfortable, because it's felt uncomfortable for so many people for so long, because of the ways in which we've been separated from God.
Yeah, it was so formal. And like you had to say the Our Father and the Hail Mary, and then it wasn't a conversation.
Yes.
It was like a proclamation, and like so disconnected. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it was like Hail Marys, or for Catholic upbringing. It's interesting too about saying God, because in the Hermetica, which is like my new favorite book, in the Hermetica they actually use atum, A-T-U-M, which is atum is like all things. And it's interesting because in the Hermetica at the beginning they say we're not going to use God because it has like too much of a charge for too many people. So even the Hermetica, which is like an ancient text, talks about the charge that the word God has.
Oh, wow.
And it's interesting because almost for me in Hermetica, I like that. And in Law of One, they say the infinite creator, like the one infinite creator. But it's like almost in Hermetica, it's interesting because it's almost like, oh my God, you're going to bitch out like that? And say a Tom? Yeah, like, oh, you guys are going to like say the most profound things and like bitch out. I'm just kidding. But it's just fascinating through all the different texts of like what people essentially say. So whatever you say is perfectly fine for you. It just needs to feel like it's what makes the most sense, but also don't feel afraid. And really, I had to last thing I'll say on this, I had to really look at why God had such a charge for me, why it was like scary to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
a really good point.
God is damning everyone to hell.
Mm-hmm.
God created all of this darkness on earth. You really have to reestablish and understand what reality is to really know God.
And even praying for like the lifting of those stories and beliefs around God or like programming around God. Good one. Amazing.
Party on.
Party on, baby. Next one is, how do you deal with expectations of friendships as an adult through life changes? And we had a similar question that was a little bit more specific. Did you ever feel during your wedding planning that friends didn't care that much? So it's like dealing with those expectations. And it's just an interesting observation and so true.
Did I, Lindsay?
She was disappointed in
I was
me.
unwell before my wedding. I was unwell. I was crying so much. I was so upset at how flippant people were about the most important days of my life. And how certain people showed up or responded to the wedding. And for me, when I respond and react in that way, that feels like it's guttural, where I was like, yo, this hurts. When people are canceling in the last couple weeks, when people are not booking travel in time and then sort of bringing you into that like drama, or people just feel like they don't care and they feel like their intention is in the wrong place. I had to really pull back and be like, okay, what is this hitting for me that feels so intense? Because I know that I'm not the only person in everyone's life. I know that people have lives outside of me. And for me, it was really hitting on that like little girl in me that always feels like I care more than everyone else, and that people don't love me in the way that I love them. And it's a scary thing. Like, it's a tribal thing, and it hits a part of your brain that really is scary to believe that like, oh, the tribe and the people that I love don't love me. And like, there isn't that reciprocal relationship or connection during this really important time for me. And yeah, it was incredibly hard, and I feel better on the other side. I felt better as soon as I got there, and I really looked for the beauty and the selflessness of so many of my dear friends that showed me their hearts during my wedding week. But it was a huge learning for me, and I had to be really forgiving for everyone. And the way that I did that was I was really honest with every single person that I felt disappointed by. Every person that I felt let me down during that period knows that I felt that way. And I have had conversations with, and we are on the other side better. And I had to consciously choose and have the conversation in my head where the me of a few years ago would be like, okay, we're done forever. You're completely out of my life. I would cut them out of my life completely. Just kind of savage about that. But me today wants to be less attached to the way in which I feel like people need to show up in my life, and just be very clear about the very intimate circle that I have that understand and know my expectations very clearly and always live up to those. And then for the other people, be more forgiving and understand how they fall in the order of my life. And just let them be in that way. So I made the conscious decision to be like, oh, it's okay if people don't do everything I want them to do. Like, life ends up the way it should. And I can forgive people for not showing up in the way that I feel like they should have. But yeah, it was really hard.
I mean, yeah, just kind of witnessing that, I really respected your ability to be honest with them, because I think I kind of just err on the side of allowing
Peace.
certain behavior. Yeah, I'm like just wanting peace. And if that means bad behavior and I am like silently disappointed, then that's the way it is. But that was inspiring to me because I've been working with this, especially moving and just being around different people and just connecting with friends in different ways. I'm like, I need to be very clear about my expectations for my friendships at times, like because I am prone to allow just not taken advantage of, but like because I'm so quote easy and laid back and like supportive and such a giver, there tends to be an imbalance in a lot of my friendships. So, you know, especially going through big life changes, part of what I'm working on is like allowing my friends to show up for me and also seeking support from my friends through life transitions, you know, because I think from what I'm learning, people kind of see me, especially like my family, so it's not friends, but like see me as like, oh, she's good. You know, she doesn't need help or support or love or inquiry or whatever.
I think a lot of people would relate to that listening.
Yeah. Like it's just, but I do, you know, but I on the outside just have it all together. That's like definitely me at the core. Just like putting that facade out there. But of course I'm human, like I'm going through things. So it's both allowing for people to show up and really receiving that. Because if I'm like, no, I'm okay, it just makes them feel like, oh, wait, what? Like, can I be there for you? Can I be your friend? Like in the truest sense of the word. And then also seeking it, like reaching out and being like, yo, I'm having a fucking week. And like, I would really love just a listening ear, or I would love your advice, you know, and just having that connection be a bit more alive and authentic rather than just kind of like cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because intimacy is that honesty, you know, like that's intimacy. And when I'm trying to think of, I've been given feedback for sure from people. I'm trying to think of like a very prolific time when I've received feedback. But when I've given that, when I was able to give that honest feedback, that's like an intimate moment. That's vulnerable. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is not perfect. This is not processed, but this is like how I'm feeling. And I am feeling safe enough with you to say how exactly I'm feeling, knowing that this could upset you, that this could ruin the relationship, whatever. And I think it's also good that I felt like I have nothing to lose. It's like, well, take it or leave it. Like, this is how I'm feeling, but I was at a point where I was like, I couldn't lie.
Yes.
And yeah, it's liberating. It's not easy. And I think that's a very special time though. And I really actually appreciated that about the wedding period, is like that permission to like do a lot of shit that I felt like I couldn't do normally. Like if it was anything else, like an event or something, like a normal event where people said they were coming then didn't, I'd be like, okay, whatever, you know. So I don't know if I would have given myself permission to really be that honest in any situation.
Totally. And last thing I'll say is just kind of like stepping into like my responsibility as like a human being that is in relationship with other human beings, where like,
yes,
you know, it's, I had that thought. It's like the hard conversations, quote unquote, hard conversations where if expectations aren't met, and being able to express that, and or noticing that you have friends who barely meet your expectations, like in a pattern, and you don't say anything, like that is, I think, tarnishing the purpose of your connection in this life, where it's like you are there to be like, I see something greater in you, you know, in different words, but I see something greater in you, and like, let's talk about what is holding you back from like, you know, I don't know, whatever that thing is that they don't meet the expectation on. So I've been thinking about that a lot, where I feel like I'm allowing a lot of quote bad behavior and how that's not helping them.
I know.
And how that's not a good, like I'm not being a good friend by just being like, well, they never do that. So
I know.
That's just the way it goes.
And I was thinking about that with specific people. I'm like, oh, that's a pattern that they have where they do, like, as an example, what they did with my wedding, and they don't have intimate relationships with people because they do things like that they did to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, that's a pattern that you're not only doing to me, but you're doing to other people, and it's detrimental to your life because you're not having as deep and intimate relationships because of situations like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know that's a hard one because you're like, how much of a right do I have?
I know.
That's with everything, you know. You're like,
And
how
then
much of a right?
my thing is also, I don't want them to be mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Facts. My fear is always them being like, well, you.
I know.
You know, like, well,
don't turn it around.
You know, literally. You're like, what? This isn't about me, bitch.
Thank you for that question. Okay, tell me this. Are you as curious about crypto as I am? I just started investing and it is fascinating. I am learning so much and I am doing so through Coinbase. So if you've thought about entering the world of cryptocurrency but felt like super overwhelmed, a little intimidated like I did, Coinbase makes learning to buy and sell super, super simple. But Coinbase believes everyone everywhere should be able to get in the door. This is not like an exclusive club. So whether you're just starting out or you've been trading for years, Coinbase can help. So Coinbase offers a trusted and easy to use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency. And they support the most popular digital currencies on the market and make them accessible to everyone. They offer portfolio management and protection, learning resources, and a mobile app so you can trade securely and monitor your crypto all in one place. It's kind of fun. I'll check it like once a week. This is a long-term investment for me, and I just feel really confident doing it. I'm learning a lot too, so I definitely dig into their learning resources on a regular basis so I can talk about it and I can have conversations with friends. And if you don't believe me, millions of people in over 100 countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. So whether you're looking to diversify, just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, start today with Coinbase. And for a limited time, new users can get $5 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at coinbase.com/almost30. Sign up at coinbase.com/almost30 for $5 in free Bitcoin. This offer is for a limited time only, so be sure to sign up today. Do it right now, coinbase.com/almost30. You know what I never thought about is that it's important that I'm using cleaning products on my dishes and my clothes, because I'm eating off of them and or putting them on my body. So when I found drops, I was stoked, not only because they're affordable, but because they are plant-based, powerful ingredients and they actually work. So I tested this because I'm like a little skeptical on the dishwasher drops. I'm like, okay, is this really going to clean my glasses, my wine glasses? Y'all, they work. They're powerful and I'm impressed. There's no measure, no mess. They come in those little pods and they have solutions for every need. So for laundry, they have sensitive skin. If you have a baby, they have detergent for that. If you have clothes that are like super stain ridden and have that odor, got you. They have Oxy Booster pods. Check them out. I love them so much. And I have them delivered like every month. They're eco-friendly. They come in a eco-responsible packaging, free carbon neutral shipping. Y'all, they are covering it all. Plus, they're never tested on animals, which we approve here at Almost 30. Go to drops.com. That's DROPPS.com. Use the code almost30 for 25% off your first purchase. That's a major, major discount. So get on it. Drops.com, DROPPS.com. Use the code almost30 for 25% off your purchase. If you've been listening to Almost 30 for a while, you know our go-to supplement brand is Hum Nutrition. They have been a partner of Almost 30 for years. They are an OG. We truly believe in them and use their supplements every single day. I wanted to shout out my current faves that I feel like everyone could use. I love their OMG Omega the Great. This supports even skin tone, your heart, brain health. These are pure, ultra pure omega-3 fish oils, and they have an ideal ratio of EPA and DHA. So it's just the best of the best. I take that every day. And then I also take the Mighty Night, which I take just before I go to bed. And this is for overnight skin cell renewal. So it's a combination of clinically proven nutrients to promote overnight skin cell turnover and optimal sleep. Getting optimal sleep, your skin looks better. You agree? I agree. And finally, my third that I'm just loving right now is the Moody Bird Baby. So around my cycle, I am taking Moody Bird. This is a potent herbal blend to support healthy hormone balance and ease the symptoms of PMS. And I've really, really, really noticed a difference. So it has chasteberry, which has been shown to have hormone regulating properties. And then it has Dong Quai root, which helps balance estrogen levels and replenish blood flow. So that's really about relieving the cramps and just keeps me really, really calm. So highly recommend. You can use our code almost30 when you go to humnutrition.com and you'll get 20% off your first order of $29 or more. So that's humnutrition.com. Use the code almost30 for 20% off first order of $29 or more. I know a lot of us have our laptops on our lap. We have our phones in our pockets, and I want to protect us. I want to protect us from radiation. Okay, it's inevitable that we're going to have lots of technology in our everyday lives, but I want to give you the peace of mind knowing that you and your devices are protected while making your devices even easier to use. So all of Safe Sleeve's anti-radiation products incorporate their lab-tested shielding technology that can block over 99% of RF and 92% of ELF radiation. There's very, very, very few brands out there that offer lab-tested protection. And you can check all of this out on their website. It's publicly available. Also, if you go to their website, they are educating their customers. So educating the public on the dangers of electronic device radiation and providing the solution. So no worries, they have the solution for you. I have the phone case, I have the laptop case. So when I have my laptop and I'm on the go, or even I have it just in my home on my lap, I make sure that the case is underneath. I also have the blue light blocking cell phone like screen protector that you just put on, and it protects me from the blue light. It shields it. It's amazing. We've used Safe Sleeve forever, and so it's just so aligned to be introducing them to you, Almost 30 Nation, and giving you a discount per usual. Go to safesleevecases.com, use the code almost30 for 10% off. That's safesleevecases.com. Use the code almost30 for 10% off. I had a friend the other day say to me, is woo more play really that good? Like, does it work? Because I'm kind of a lube skeptic. And I was like, are you ready? Are you ready to tell me just how much it's going to change your life? And so I went on to tell her about the coconut love oil, which is my favorite. It has truly made my experience a pleasure, so much better. All of the ingredients in the coconut love oil from Woo More Play are natural, and so it works super, super well with my body, especially our private parts, which are super sensitive, and we got to be careful what kind of stuff we're putting down there. It has things like coconut oil, vanilla essence, stevia, beeswax, and so it's just the best and also tastes incredibly good. I also want to shout out another product from More Play that I love and take with me basically everywhere. The Freshies. The Freshies are natural pre or post play wipes, and I love them so much. I bring them when I travel. I have them in my bedside table. I have them in the bathroom. Like, they're the best, and they smell so nice. It's all natural, so no worries. It's good for your body, and I highly recommend. So try Woo More Play. I am a believer. Krista and I are just the biggest fans. We love this brand, woomoreplay.com. And as you know, we always got you on that discount. When you use the code almost30, you will get 20% off. So go to woomoreplay.com. Use the code almost30 for 20% off your purchase. This was just kind of a topic and something that someone suggested to Krista, just this idea of realizing that we shouldn't idolize anyone.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
And that not every action they make aligns with every soul. Just kind of
yeah. This is from Jess in my DMs, and just she's now having the realization that we shouldn't be idolizing social media people or gurus or authors or teachers or leaders, and that not every prescription that these people have will align with every person's soul path. And I think that this is like a Peter Kelly topic. It's like a Alyssa Romeo topic. It's, an Africa Brooke topic, something we talk about quite a bit. But this is something that I've really been thinking about mindfully in the sharing of my content, in the way that I show up, in my experience with other people, where especially in like 2020, 2019, it was crazy to see people saying things with the true heart belief that what they were saying and prescribing will apply to every single person, and that every single person should follow their prescription of how people should live their life, how they should vote, how they should, work, how they should be in relationship, how they should, be an activist, like whatever it was. The soul prescription for the same thing for tons of different people is so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cult-like to have that belief. And that was a huge awakening that I had, where I was like, wow, you actually don't need to say anything that everyone else is saying. Just because everyone else is saying it, you actually don't need to say anything. You don't need to act or be in the same way that everyone else is just because everyone else is doing it. It needs to feel true and authentic for you. And nothing will happen. Nothing will last. Nothing will actually change if everyone is acting in an unintegrated way in belief that they're in support or against a certain topic or issue,
And I think it also comes down to like trusting ourselves, which I think just as a collective, we are slowly but surely doing more and more and sharpening that or working that muscle. Because I think ideally, we have these experts and teachers and healers and gurus of sorts. I don't really like the guru thing, but it's like we should be able to say, take their course, watch their live, read their book, and discern for ourselves, because we trust ourselves, what feels truthful to us and what feels aligned to integrate into our own lives. And the other things that don't, we could be like, okay, that's not for me.
Yes.
And it's not about, following this person and then being like, I am a follower of this person and everything that they do and say and how they live. Because I think what happens is that when that's the first, like adherence and commitment, it's like, then when they do something, say outside of your beliefs, et cetera, it's like, oh my gosh, it's this huge like crumbling of what you thought this person could provide you. It's like having the expectation of you're going to be incredibly curious with this person that you're initially attracted to learn from, and then trust yourself, discern, and like take what is for you and leave what's not.
Yeah, it shatters your projection of like who they are.
Yes.
And like what they believe. And people are allowed to be however they want to be online and however they want to be in life. And people are allowed to change their minds. People are allowed to let you down and disappoint you. But whenever someone that you don't know is disappointing you, it's really your perceived idea of who they are. Because who they are is who they're going to be. And if you have this idea that they believe a certain way and maybe find out they don't believe a certain way, that's actually just whatever idea you had created in your head. It's actually not truth, because they're living in their own experience and their own expression, and they have every right to do so. So it's always on us. Like when we have that moment, we're like, oh my God, they didn't do or say something, or be in the way that I wanted them to be, it's like, that's your problem, not anyone else's, you know, and always bring it back to you. It's like, well, how would you want them to be? Why don't you be that in the world? Why don't you say the things that you wish they would have said, or, you know, express yourself in the way that you wish they would have, instead of like asking and giving the power away to other people to do what you wanted them to do.
I think we can get tripped up because there is this thing of like social media and platforms and having a huge following and just feeling like, well, if I don't have that, then I can't say those things and have like the same impact, but it's not true.
But also it's like, why so much of the time are we like expecting like these like influencers with like millions of followers that are posting like Fashion Nova pictures to be like political correspondents all of a sudden?
I know.
Like literally, like people are like, oh, you've only been posting makeup videos for 4 years and now you're supposed to be like an expert on geopolitical issues.
I know.
It's like, what do we expect?
It's sad. There's also something like with capitalism and how these teachers, healers, gurus, etc., are like wanting to sell as many fill in the blanks as possible. And so it's making it like almost to a fault attractive and accessible to everyone. Not every quote and everyone in quotes, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than having almost like it's really our responsibility, but falsely making it seem like all of this information is what you need to know to live your life.
Yes.
Rather than like, hey, this is what I believe and this is what I teach, and I'm really excited to welcome you into what I'm offering, and I hope it lands, and if it doesn't, all good. There's so many other people out there.
Yep.
But because there's competition and capitalism and all this stuff, obviously you want to be like the one.
Yeah, it was weird on Sarah Laundrie's post, Birds Papaya. There was like this like troll comment that like commented something about her breastfeeding. And I just commented something quick. I was like, you know, I don't know if everyone knows that you can keep scrolling on this app. And I got like 3,500 likes on the thing. And it was just so telling to the fact of like, people don't realize that like, just keep it moving. Keep it moving. If someone is not saying something for you, that's the beautiful thing about the internet. Your life, you can keep it moving.
Yep.
You know,
100%. Let's breathe.
How now, brown cow.
All right. Next question. Okay. This one is actually someone that submitted on my Instagram, and it's kind of an advice vibe. Married but feel emotional connection to someone else. Reaching out feels sneaky, and ignoring my heart feels like a betrayal to myself, feeling very guilty.
Fuck him in the closet, sis. Fuck him in your car, sis. Have him bend you over at work. I like took this question because I was just like, I'm gonna fuck around with this one. I think with this, I always think about like there's so much energy when it's like no.
I know.
It's almost like taking away
the forbidden.
Yes, the forbidden. That's like sometimes it's like if it wasn't so forbidden, I don't know if it would have the charge.
Yeah, and I wonder too. Like we think that in our relationships, and especially like a marriage, that like our significant other should be most things to us emotionally.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I don't know if it's like just kind of thinking about that expectation, you know?
Yes.
And I think it depends on the appropriateness.
Yeah.
Right? So like I can have an emotional connection to another male and feel fulfilled in the conversations we have, but not fuck them. But if it crosses the line into like sexting and like talking about things that are inappropriate, obviously that's something completely different.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this live and in the flesh.
We're laughing.
I'm just laughing. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've had that where you feel like you're like, ooh, this is not approved. I've never said anything or sent anything, but I've thought like, oh, this wouldn't be something that would be fun to find out. And it always kind of like runs its course, but I'm acting like I'm like having DM conversations. This is alluding to a little too much. It's not alluding to anything. So what I'm trying to say is that I've had conversations with men that have been attractive, that I have found attractive from just the physical level, where I would think that Justin would probably be like, oh my God, he's an attractive person. And it would create an energy of jealousy when nothing was really actually there. So I think that's the thing too, is that we have this idea where it's like a man and a woman who are attractive are talking. Like, this is going to be dangerous. And it actually never really is. So I think there's the deep, intimate reflection and thought on your actual relationship, and having the honest conversation with yourself, being like, is this fulfilling me intimately, passionately, in every way that I want to be fulfilled? And is this person fulfilling something else for me? Or is it the fantasy that I enjoy? Is it the exit? Is it the idea of someone else? I think when women want to leave, we usually find a like scapegoat type pseudo boyfriend to sort of make the bridge easier outside of relationship. I know all my friends would usually do that. And I've definitely done that, where I've sort of found the person that I could transition my like affection to for the time being until I was able to get out of the long-term relationship. That's obviously not the most honest and best way to do it, but that's something that I definitely did. And it really was because I was like trying to get out of this situation, and I sort of needed support in that. So I think it's the deep inquiry. Like, what is that guilt? What is that shame? How can you diffuse the energy from it? How can you pull energy of shame and guilt from it and see it for what it really is? And if it really is something that feels like it's more than just a relationship, I would probably cut it off unless you wanted to explore it further and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, I'm curious if you've had a conversation with your spouse where you are expressing, your needs, your desires, and what feels to be missing. Because I have a feeling that if you're feeling emotionally just malnourished in your marriage, that the other person is probably feeling something.
Yeah.
Something similar or just something. Yeah. And so
just feel like women are so
I know,
like
but the offering of a conversation, I think, is such a gift. It's hard. It's going to be a hard conversation. It's going to be awkward. But even saying like, listen, I've kind of felt like these moments of just emotional connection with people, like in passing, in whatever, and it's really making me think about like our connection and how we can just like foster that and cultivate that, because I'm just feeling like I'm not necessarily getting what I need. And I can imagine that you might be feeling something. So
could you have a deep, intimate connection with another man?
Like just a friend?
I do with Joey. He's gay.
Yeah, he's gay.
He's gay. So it's like, it's weird, so it's like, but I guess his sexual, he's not attracted to women.
I think that's,
but it's
from my perspective, it's different because it's not a quote threat to your heterosexual husband.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
True. I just wonder, like, can you have a deep, intimate relationship with a man?
It's funny because I feel like Sean has a lot of girlfriends that he can be incredibly just open with.
It's questions from Sean.
Deep with. What?
It's questions from Sean.
It's actually Sean.
Actually,
in drag.
Sean on his pseudo account. It's on his burner.
But I don't know what it is about how he does that doesn't make me feel a certain way.
Totally.
It's weird because I think our connection is really deep and intimate.
Women are very intuitive, though. Yeah, like if there's. You could be like, you're friends with 100 chicks and there's one where you're like, that one's a little funky.
Yeah, totally.
Like every girl knows that situation with a relationship where you're like, this one is a little funky.
Totally. 100%.
We always know. That's 100%. Something. So I'm interested if the man also feels that too. If maybe if you're in a heterosexual relationship, maybe if he feels that as well.
Oh, yeah. Possibly.
So that was a bunch of different information. None of it helpful. Those are our thoughts.
Oh, man. Blessings to you.
Last one.
Prayers. Last one. You go for it. What do you want?
Oh, this is a good one. Relationship is comfortable and healthy, but not challenging me. I can relate to this one. I had to really rethink what I was looking for in a relationship. And I had a period with Justin. We've been together 9 years, something like that. And I had a period where I was like, oh man, this isn't like fully challenging me. But what I was doing was taking all the energy that I should have been applying to my life and my growth and my own development and putting it on our relationship and him in particular. And I really should have focused that energy back on myself. Like, how can I challenge myself to read more, to become more the person I want to be, to do all of these things that I want to do. Like, a lot of what I want to do and create in my life is actually outside of Justin. Like, most of it is. So I was kind of channeling that energy to feeling like he needed to be the reason why I was evolving and growing, or why I was feeling challenged. And your relationship, if you shall seek it, will have enough challenge. Don't fucking worry about it. If you really lean in and you're really vulnerable and you're really honest and you're really yourself and you really want to go there, it will have all of the challenge that you seek. Period. Yes. It is the greatest mirror. Anytime I want to tap into my challenge, I can definitely do that with Justin. It's not pretty and it's not fun, but and then within that, I kind of reframed comfortable and healthy, you know, where I was like, damn, life is hard enough. Yep. Life is hard enough anyways. Like, I want this to be our own little like abyss. I wanted it to be our own little mirage where we could just truly enjoy life and have fun and laugh and like be ourselves and be deep when we want to and be creative when we want to, or be however we want it to be. And I stopped looking at my relationship as being so much of like the ultimate growth hack for myself, because for so often I was in really deep, intimate relationship with men throughout my life. And that was my greatest opportunity and springboard for my growth. So I had to reframe Justin and I to being like this beautiful cocoon of love and support, because my life was like hard enough already outside of it. Totally. So I think the first part is to really look in and how can you really support your own growth. And then second, I think, is to really look at your relationship. If you wanted to go there and be more vulnerable, it can be that opportunity for more challenge. And then third is really redefine to have something that's really healthy and loving be good. You know, I think we kind of even poo-poo that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Sean loves a challenge, just in general. So sometimes after we're like super good for a long time, he's like, I need to shake this shit up a little bit. And I'll feel it. I'll feel kind of him pseudo like just creating a little bit of, you know, dissonance between us. And I like called him out on that, and it's true. It's 100% true. It's almost like he needs that in order to know that like we're going to grow together. Like that we can like get through these fights and hard times. But what it brings up for me is, this question brings up for me is like, because I'm a peacemaker, because I'm like, quote, easygoing, am I not saying how I really feel? You know, like if it is like super easy, peaceful all the time, I just need to check in with myself. Not that I want to bring up things to fight, but it's like, am I expressing myself on a consistent basis? Or am I just like going with the flow and, you know, letting him make all the decisions, or just kind of appeasing whatever he needs and wants? And it's at that point that like I kind of shift the system a little bit, that relationship between us, and express how I feel, what I need, what I desire. And that can oftentimes bring up like, wait, you haven't told me this. Like, what have you been like, why haven't you told me this? What is, you know, so it shifts it a little bit. So it can bring up some challenges. But I think you're so right. It's like, that's called to be more vulnerable, I think, is kind of what you're feeling with that. Everything's good, but there is that need, like a soul need to just be more of yourself in the relationship.
Totally agree. Yeah, I love that. Congrats on being a comfortable and healthy relationship.
I know. It's true.
But also, if you feel in your heart, you're like, oh, I feel like I've outgrown this. That's a factual
A lot of people
feeling too. Have had that as well.
have like been with people since they were young.
Yes.
So it's like been with someone since they're in their early 20s, which is incredible. Been with them for 10 years and they're like, And, it's healthy to change. It's healthy to kind of have those moments of like.
And outgrow people.
Yeah.
I remember my ex, I used to be like, I just want to go deep. And he's like, I want to be surface.
And you're like, I'm out.
Yeah. Just, how funny is that?
Dude,
he's like, can we just be surface?
I mean, it's honest.
Dude, it's honest.
It's freaking honest.
You guys can listen to other Ask Us Anything episodes for almost 30. Make sure you're subscribed. Would love if you guys would write a kind review. These have been so sweet, and we really appreciate it for all the content we deliver weekly. We will see you guys at camp on July 24th. We cannot wait. Invite a friend. We are going to have to close registration for this probably a few days before, just for how many people that are coming. So make sure you register at almost30.com/camp.
And we just want to thank our sponsors for camp. We're super excited. Issue is sponsoring camp, Anima Mundi, and Yoga Wake Up. All three incredible brands. Issue is one that we use for our creating content and being able to repurpose for different platforms. Anima Mundi is a beautiful plant and herbal apothecary of sorts. And Yoga Wake Up, really excited. They have just beautiful yoga accessories and just have a beautiful ethos. And then the sponsors for this episode, thank you to Woo More Play, Drops, Safe Sleeve, Hum Nutrition, and Coinbase. You can find all discount information in our show notes as well as on almost30.com. Just scroll down and click on partners. We love you.
Goodbye.